Night Raw review. And I would say a pretty safe episode, but a pretty good episode as well. Pretty safe in the way that things happened which made sense, which needed to happen, but they were like slow progressions. Like Finn returning, then AJ and Becky deciding that they're going to have a match at Mania, the Kyrie and EO story now furthering along. Uh, but the major stuff that happened that actually people are talking about and we should talk about is Roman crashing out and the whole story that we have there, which I think they have actually brought a storyline back, which they actually dropped a few months back, which was Jay crashing out, like him, like losing his senses because he was no longer winning. He has lost that edge. He's just a heat man, and them bringing that aspect of his character back, I think, is a good touch. Also, because the Vision and the Usos faced each other, and uh, LA Knight came out to distract Logan so that he cannot use the brass knucks. He gave it to Jay, but aside from Jay hiding the brass knucks, he just clocked Logan in the head. And they retained the title due to champion's advantage. After the match, he went in there, said fuck it, and then fucked up Austin Theory too. Or like vice versa. Like first Austin Theory was knocked out and then Logan Paul. And LA Knight was like, he doesn't mind whatever you're doing with them, but the way that you're acting impulsively and the way you're talking reminds him of Roman Reigns, and the justification that you're doing here reminds him. And then Jay was casual, like, who are you to tell me, and then everything like that. I think what's probably going to happen, because we're getting the Usos versus the Vision in a street fight for the tag titles next week, I think we're going to have the Vision win the tag titles. And I think Jay is probably gonna like take out all his anger on LA Knight, and that's how we get LA Knight's match at Mania, which is LA Knight versus Jey Uso. I think they are pivoting there. Because also like in when Punk called him out and all, Jay also mentioned that he doesn't care about the tag title. So it looks like indications are there that the tag titles are going to get taken off of the Usos. The only question there is then who will the Vision face at Mania? Like there are tag teams on Raw, but they are not like WrestleMania worthy like matches for the tag titles. So I don't know what they do with that. But then talking about CM Punk, like CM Punk coming out, him saying that about talking about how he doesn't mind being old, that he doesn't use like like a hair conditioner or something like that, so that all of his whiskers remain black, and that he doesn't need help to achieve something, that he is proud that he's in his middle age and he has achieved a lot. And then him also trashing Jey Uso, because before his entrance, Jimmy Uso told him that watch what you gonna talk about, because my brother is on a rampage. And then him saying the what, is he gonna eat me to death and everything. And the funny part was that he was still talking shit about Jay while Jay was making his entrance, and Jay was like, shut your mouth and everything. And CM Punk was like, what, I have no problem, I remember that you didn't get your fair rematch for the world heavyweight championship, so I'm ready, I'm a fighting champion, I am ready to fight. And then Jimmy comes out. He's like, that Roman is getting a title shot. But Jay's like, I don't care. He's talking shit about me. Then Roman comes out. He tells Jimmy that I want you and your brother to get out of there. And Punk is like, yeah, you should listen to him. And then he also said some stuff about, Alpha and Sika as well. And then Jay went crazy. And then Roman was hesitating there, hesitating when the Usos were going wild. But then Jay was like, come on, get him. And then Roman went crazy. Superman punched him, had a good spear on him, and then power bombed him through a table. And you had CM Punk laughing, and he was saying that I didn't need any help. Because that has been the main point that CM Punk has been bringing up against Roman. And that has kind of been what has been troubling Roman as well, where people have said that in the end you're just going to be alone, like you're going to be a tribal chief without a tribe. Like what have you really achieved when you didn't have the bloodline by your side. And he hasn't. He lost at Mania. He lost to Bronson Reed because of his bloodline not being on his side. And he has lost his matches. And in a way, like how Roman got into Punk's head last week with the old stuff, and you could say when CM Punk was overcompensating while he was defending himself, so that did get to him. And then here, CM Punk is like, I don't mind it because I have set off a chain of events. Roman actually followed Jay's orders, which Roman never does, because you can say he has changed, but he has not really changed. He still thinks that he is the leader, but he followed Jay's orders. You have a maniacal, trigger happy Jay going around who thinks he has a chip on his shoulders, and that is because of CM Punk. Because of the stuff he has said, there's going to be conflict between them as well. So CM Punk achieved his mission today, and I liked this segment. Like, I don't know why people want the intensity of the first week back. How can you get the intensity? Like, they had their intensity, and this is the natural result of that intensity. When you say the most like things you know that will hurt the person, then in the upcoming days you throw slight jabs or you try to play with the person's mind more, because you have said the stuff which are to be said loudly. You saw that that strategy is not working, so you go into the quiet route, you go into manipulating the people around them as well, and you could see this is affecting them. And you could see how Punk was. Another thing, like Dominic and Liv were coming out for their match before they had a video package for them. Stephanie jumped. Man, that brawl was something else. You don't really see women brawling like that because WWE doesn't really allow them. Like Stephanie and Liv like throwing each other into the walls, then Stephanie throwing her to the ground. Like that was like vicious. And I think this is what their feud needed after a couple of weeks of just like matches and vignettes. They needed this. Then JD McDonough come out, and then Finn returned. It helped Penta regain momentum. He won, and then then Dominic ran away, and then Finn coup de grace JD McDonough. Also, you had Javon Evans and ISHO Speed meeting each other. Danhausen cursing ISHO Speed. I and now what is ISHO Speed is going to be ISHO Slow. Then also Danhausen beating ISHO Speed in a race. Penta and them doing the Penta walk. ISHO Speed making it more extra zesty as well. And another thing, Javon defeated Grayson Waller. Only thing that I don't know what is the direction of this. Like, and like we had a promo from Javon in the ad break that he wants the IC title, but the things that happen in ad break are not really canon. We saw that with Ludwig Kaiser and a lot of people. They are not really canon. So, and if Javon is going after Penta, because what? Penta now has two defenses, one against Dragon Lee, one against Dominic. So, is it going to be a straight up singles match? Because you're also having the Americanos face each other again, and the new El Grande Americano said that he's going to defeat the original and he's going to take his mask from him. So what I think is gonna happen is maybe we get like a fatal four way at Mania, like we had last year. Maybe Penta versus both the El Grande Americano versus Javon Evans at Mania, or we get Penta versus one of the El Grande Americanos versus Ray Phoenix versus Javon Evans at WrestleMania. I think that kind of makes more sense. Not Ray Phoenix, Dragon Lee. So yeah, that kind of makes more sense, I would say, because I don't think the US title is going to have a multi match. I think it's probably going to be Carmelo versus Ilya Dragunov one last time, and I think Ilya is going to get the US title from Carmelo. So there's that. Bailey and Lyra Valkyria defeated the Kabuki Warriors. And they are facing for the tag titles on Raw next week. I think that is probably going to be the way that they get that multi women tag match, and maybe probably a ladder match at WrestleMania, which they deservedly deserve. And also the other thing, Oba, Femi, and Brock Lesnar, like Brock Lesnar, Oba, and Paul Heyman coming out to the ring. Paul Heyman being like, everyone thought that Cena could get his revenge. He couldn't. Dean Ambrose, he defeated them. He was laying out all the other people that Brock has defeated. And then he's like, Oba is overrated. Oba comes out. Brock tries to, lifts him up pretty easily, but then Oba fights it out and then clotheslines him over the top rope and then everything. Brock was first very shocked and then kind of like laughs it off, but it's like you could see the fear in his face. I'm just like scared that I hope they're not giving Oba all this just to have them have a great match at Mania, but then have Oba lose. Oba has to win. I don't care what happens with Brock's retirement match at SummerSlam, but Oba has to win at Mania. Like then you can get, then you don't have to have him win the world title. You can take him to the Intercontinental title, but Oba needs this win. Brock doesn't need this win. He can fight off a loss at Mania. He has won every match since he has come back. And also, we are getting Brock next week. I don't think we are getting Roman next week. Like, we're seeing more Brock than we are seeing Roman. And I like this beatdown from Roman, and I like the way where their story is going. I think people misinterpreted last week. They're like, why is Roman being all that? But the thing is, Roman is being all that because it doesn't phase him. He wants to be like, he has to say all that. But I say like one small stuff and he like loses his mind. Like they both are playing their mind games. So people need to also notice things. People want more, nuanced storytelling, but when they actually do it, you ignore it. That's not how it works. Also, Becky Lynch had a good promo against AJ Lee, like talking about how she, you know, tore apart the Divas division, about how, you left for 10 years, you call yourself a trailblazer, but I'm going to take back the championship. Like, it doesn't sit well with me that my daughter, is an AJ Lee fan. AJ Lee also called that out. The only problem that I have with is you're having a lot of matches at Mania where you have had their matches either at Raw or at PLEs, and I think they need stipulations so that people are excited for those matches. Like they can have a good straight up singles match, but I would be more like pleased if they have a stipulation. And I think AJ is slowly getting back into like a good singles wrestler, but I think for a WrestleMania stage, I think maybe you give a little bit of like, car crash television and hide all the like still the slowness that she has. And also, like, what are we going to do with Natalia? Like, why isn't Natalia added into this match? Because otherwise, what is the point of having Natalia have this new character destroying your new made babyface Maxine if you're not gonna put her in some title picture? I don't get it. Wasn't her aim to go after the Intercontinental Championship? Now it's not. So I don't get that. And the starting segment between Seth and Paul Heyman was great as well. Like when Paul Heyman said all that stuff, like like when you go to jail, like your wife is going to sleep with all these people, then the CPS is going to be called, and I'm going to adopt your daughter. Then Seth comes back, punches Paul, but Paul is like smiling. Even before that, him saying that we are real men, my men and my family, we are all snitches. and we and we put our restraining orders and on. So this was a pretty fun episode of Raw. I just want to know about the direction. Like Gunther has not been on television since 3 weeks. What is he going to do at Mania? Like give him something. Like Gunther versus Penta can go good also as well. It makes sense. Penta and Ray were teaming up, but then do you want to put Gunther in the mid card again? But give him something, man. Like this is not good for the wrestler who retired John Cena, who retired AJ Styles, who felt like he got that momentum back. Now you're gonna put him off WrestleMania. And another we are hearing reports about Ray retiring at Clash of Italy, but I don't know how like true those reports are. So yeah, a good episode of Raw. What do you think about the show? Tell me in the comment section. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter /X account, is in my Instagram link is in my description. So go watch me there. Go donate on my UPI Shab boy that okay ICICI so I can make YouTube payment career option. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Goodbye. Alvida.